Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your day. Today, we're close to the end of the book. It's called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, and we're going to cover off chapter 11 today. And it's going to go over decisiveness and uncertainty. Decisiveness and uncertainty. And that can play a big factor in achieving goals, achieving the things you want in your business, in your life, personally, professionally. And there's some tips here and some advice, some strategies, some things to consider when it comes to being decisive and getting away from being that person that's uncertain or unable to make some decisions. So let's jump right into chapter 11. The picture is never complete. Leaders must be comfortable with this, knowing that they need to make decisions promptly and then be ready to adjust to those decisions based on evolving situations and new information. So meaning that we might not always have the bigger picture of what's happening with the goal that we're looking towards or the decision that we need to make at this point, but we need to decide, we need to make a choice of our best ability so that we can then, if needed, adapt and change if it's not the right choice. But we need to steer clear of just doing that wait and see and that having that uncertainty. Achievement leaders, it talks about here, we will take calculated risks and make the best decision they can based on the information available. Doing so enables them and their teams to move forward more decisively. That is also part of it, right? It's part of, are you now a leader that is known for the kind of wait and see or trying to have everything in order to be able to make a decision? Sometimes we need to make decisions based on the best of the ability and information and resources that we have at the time, and then make sure that the others around us that are looking towards us or reporting to us are seeing us as people that are not indecisive, not people that aren't able to make choices or decisions, that are able to look at what we have and make the best choices off that. Now, there was a part in the book that they talked about that they had a clear shot at what they thought could possibly be an enemy sniper. And they had a clear shot from this guy. We're like, okay, we saw something and we want to make sure if that's the enemy, we want to take this guy out right now. So they confirmed that there was no one in that particular building. Then they confirmed with the sniper, did he have a clear shot? He didn't have a clear shot. He saw something. He was ready to take a shot if that clear shot became available. They were, in this point, not having all the information, ready to make a choice. Could it be in life or death situation? Could it be actually your own team in that building that you didn't know? Or could it just be the enemy and you need to take them out before they take you out? So in this particular case, they reconfirmed because they didn't have a clear shot. They made a decision on, we need to take this tactic right now, which is to go look in that building. We need to actually make that choice because we don't have that clear shot. Now, that will happen, I'm sure, in a matter of moments. And as they did that, they realized that as they were going into that building to clear it and make sure they took care of that guy in that building, the people that were ready to snipe this guy were looking at the wrong building. So they realized they were looking at the wrong building. They were looking at a building that actually had one of their team in there. They called off the attack, and that was a close call of just, hey, this was a miscommunication. We're in a hostile work environment. These guys were looking down at buildings. They weren't quite sure which one was the right building, and then they were found out they were looking at the wrong building. So sometimes it makes a choice that's maybe not popular. It's an unpopular choice, but you made the choice to be sure or you made the choice that, hey, I have enough information to make a decision and then go forward with that decision. Deciding to be indecisive, right? Things here it talks about, just like on the battlefield in the book, it talks about the decisions made on the battlefield need to be fast and accurate, because if they fail, it means consequences are irreparable. Regardless, it is important for leaders to make the best decision based on immediate available information. So I've participated in this. This has been something where I have not made choices when I should have made them more quickly. Having enough information was enough to make that decision and then move forward. Whether it was a business decision for a purchase or for an employment or for a let go or a fire, it needed to be done, and it needed to be done because I had enough information to make the choice. And sometimes we miss out on opportunities, and sometimes we miss out on getting or achieving a goal because we don't make those choices. We need to be aware of the traps. And that brings us to the questions. I've got a little activity sheet for this particular chapter, chapter 11 on decisiveness and uncertainty. I'll put my information, my thoughts in the post, and then I'll put the activity sheet in the comments. But it says here, what are some traps of being indecisive? And I took this from my point of view, my experience, and from the book. I believe it comes from 4 things. Making the wrong decision without all the information, fear that you're going to make the wrong decision, right? There's 1, ego, getting in the way of what's best for you, for the company, because of your ego, right? Because you can't let go of this particular thing, or because of this particular way. The 3rd one, relationships could be hurt or permanently impacted, right? That's another one that holds people off. Not always do we have the right people in the right seats. Not always do our goals align with some of the people that we have that are we working with. So that can be a trap. And then being distracted, you're so distracted by being so busy that you can't focus on what might be a great decision for the company, for the goal, for the team, for the family, whatever it might be, because you're so busy, you're so in the business or in the details and not on kind of the overall picture. So I think they're the 4 traps. And how can you train, or can you train to have better rapid decision making? Can you just train it? Is it something you can build upon? I think it is. I think it's a skill. Like anything, we need to practice it. We need to be aware of the traps. I think that's going to be a great way to do it. And it's going to take some time. So when we look at the traps, if we're more self-aware, then we can decide and resolve the trap, not get caught in it. I know that I've fallen into these, like I've talked about. It could have been a decision for a purchase, for a hire, for a fire, whatever it might be. I can't be in these 4 traps. I need to play out what I need to do with making that decision based on the information that I have. And often, this is what I like too, often making the decision based on the information you have, like the best decision you can, is way better in my experience and what's been portrayed in the book than to wait it out and kind of see what happens, and maybe then it'll weed itself out or it'll come to fruition at some point. It's much more effective, that I've seen, to make the decision even if it could possibly be the wrong one, because you can then adjust and move. Or if changes come up that you didn't even foresee, it could have been the perfect decision. So I think it's much more effective to be decisive. It talks about that in the book. I talk about that as my experience. So beware of the traps. Here are the 4 that I think are the traps. Making the wrong decision because of fear, because you don't think you're gonna make the right choice. Ego getting in the way. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If this has always been the way I do it. Ego getting in the way of the overall goal and mission or achievement that you're looking towards. Relationships could be hurt or impacted permanently. that's true. That can be the case where you sometimes don't have the right people in the right seat for that particular position, or for that particular job in a team, or for that particular job, what we're doing as in, maybe it's in sports or whatever it might be. There could be a rearrange that can happen. But that's sometimes the choice that people make, is they don't want to affect that relationship, so they decide to not make a choice. Or the last one, being so distracted, being so in the details that you can't step back and make the choice, make the decision. So be decisive. Move towards your goals. Be aware and beware of the traps, right? Be aware of yourself and beware of the traps. Be decisive and make choices so that you can win, so that your team can win, so that you can have a better life personally and professionally. I hope that helps you. I love this book. Chapter 11 is a great one. It's making you sure that you're decisive, not being uncertain. So be more decisive. I hope you have an incredible weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.